Every time.
It's funny because it looks like you just
I know.
sit down, talk, and done.
I know.
Welcome to Smell My Podcast.
It should really be called the John and Sim Show. Shut.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Johnny?
Cool. I love you. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome to Smell My Podcast.
I got married at 19. I was a baby. Literally. I met my ex. Okay, let me start even younger because I also have like a bit of a weird background. I was born in Brazil. Then moved to Mexico when I was 3.
That's cool.
My dad's Mexican, yeah.
Does he make enchilada? Is that a food?
Enchiladas, yeah, definitely.
And like, do you drink tequila?
I don't.
Oh, I do, and I love tequila.
But I do have lots of Taco Tuesdays.
Is that also Mexican?
That's the thing, yeah. Tacos are Mexican, yeah.
I totally knew that.
Yeah, was there till I was 14.
You speak Mexican?
Spanish.
I mean Spanish.
Don't worry, you're not the first. I get more surprised when people ask if I speak Spanish and they would say
Is Mexican a language?
It's not.
Oh.
I am Mexican.
Guys, I'm so
What do you mean? Don't you speak South African?
I mean, I literally do speak South African. Okay, fine. So you speak Spanish.
I speak Spanish.
That's so
yes.
cool.
I actually had to learn English when I moved here. Fun fact.
How old were you when you moved? So you and your family moved here when you were 14?
14, exactly.
From Mexico?
From Mexico.
Okay, and then?
Moved to South Africa in grade 9. I met my ex like 6 months after that. After I moved.
Whoa.
Yeah. He was in school with my brother. And we used to go ice skating was the thing back then.
Totally.
And we used to go ice skating every Sunday. So it was like...
Where you could see a boy?
Yeah, that was like the only place where I could see a boy.
Okay, so...
But it clearly didn't work because I ended up with a boyfriend at 14.
Oh, yeah, that's such a good point because that's like foot water.
Oh my God, my parents freaked out.
And it was your brother's friend?
It was my brother's friend.
Okay.
So he had a crush on me for a while, and I was like, I don't talk to him.
I mean, do you blame him? You are quite stunning. Young love blossomed at the ice rink.
It did.
Okay.
And he was not giving up. He was like, I'm going to get you one day. And 6 months later, then he messaged me, and I was like, okay, we can speak, but like as friends, and no one's allowed to know. And he's like, fine. And then obviously...
What message? Like SMS or what?
SMS, yeah. And then it was like, do you remember BBM?
BBM. Then me and my husband
was like, give me your BBM pin. Yeah.
Yes.
So it was my BBM. And then you could change the profile on BBM and the name. So it was under like the girl's name. So no one knew it was him. It was like very...
Including
secret.
your parents. Was it a secret from your parents?
Especially from my parents. Like my friends knew. Yeah. A lot of my friends had boyfriends as well. We were a bit of a rebellious class. So... it was trendy.
Okay, so
but
now
still,
it
was rebellious for me, so now I've got a boyfriend. That's what
Okay.
And yeah, we broke up probably like 50 times between then and when we actually got married.
Did you love him though?
I did.
Was it like that, like childhood first love, butterflies in your stomach?
100%, yeah.
And then when you break up, you would like vomit and cry because you were so sad.
Like I screamed every time, and my sister would be like, "Why are you surprised? Like we've been through this." And every time it was like devastating. And she'd be like, "I know you're gonna get back together next week." I'd be like, "No, this one's for real."
Yes, and you believe it's for real. You believe your life is over. Exactly. And then when you get back together, you're like, "I can't believe we're back together," and it's so different this time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and like now we're really never going to break up, and then you do, and it's a shock.
It literally is Gossip Girl. You were checking there. What would you fight over?
Oh, there's plenty to fight over. I don't know.
Like stupid things. Yeah, okay, fine. Not.
No, it was also more we would break up because I'd be like, hey, I decided I want to be good and I don't want to have a boyfriend. And then he'd be like, okay, fine. And then I'd be next week, I'd be like, but I miss you. And then more of like that vibe. Yeah, like I don't want to support my parents.
And was the whole thing a secret from your parents?
At first, for the first few months.
Oh, only for a few months.
Then I came home from school one day and my parents are like, have this serious face on them, like, uh-oh. And they're like, do you want to go out for lunch? And I'm like, uh-oh. This has never happened before. And I'm like, flip, they know.
Can we just like disclaimer, your parents are very nice people and you love them?
My parents are the best. I love them to death. They've also come a really long way and now they're a lot more chill. They're okay with me wearing my hair down now.
Your wedding, how does it come to be that you're engaged now?
So before that, we did actually break up properly for a year. I need to spend time away, do my thing, figure out who I am, what I want. And then after that, if we're meant to be, we're going to be. I really was like, this is it. And I broke up with him, and I really didn't speak to him for that entire year.
You both basically took a gap year abroad to study and to breathe, and you broke up for that whole year. So that's quite healthy, at least.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you were in touch during that year.
We weren't, actually.
Whoa.
That's me. Like, if I was the same with my divorce. I'm like, if I've made up my mind for something, and it takes me a long time to get there, but once I've gotten there, like, you will not convince me that that's the wrong decision. Like, I'm very strong. So, like, we're broken up. Like, we're not speaking. And I was very strong about that. And we didn't speak for an entire year.
Wasn't that difficult? Or was it a relief in a way?
It was difficult. Like, I did miss him, and I had been with him for like 3-4 years by then.
Wow.
So he was really a huge part of my life. But I needed that. Like, I knew that I needed to focus on myself. And I've always been, I think, like, moving here at 14 really, like, made me grow up really fast. So even though, yes, I got married at 19, I really was very mature. And like, I still tell people now that it's not the fact that I got married young. I mean, you see it all the time, like, people, the wrong person at 40 and get divorced at 40.
Of course.
Because people will be like, oh, is it because you got married at 19 and you were like dumb and didn't know what you were doing? I'm like, absolutely not. Looking back, there were like so-called red flags that maybe now I would have questioned a bit, but it wasn't this. I wasn't, like, it felt right at the time. It really did. Like, I felt confident in my decision. I was like, he's my soulmate.
But that doesn't. Let me ask you this.
Because a lot of my friends will say to me that, like, they knew they were marrying the wrong person. They just were too scared to, like, break it off. I didn't have that. For me, it was.
He was your soulmate.
He was my soulmate.
Which he probably is. I believe that maybe you could have more than one soulmate. I think there's different soulmates for different parts of your soul. But more to the point is, just because you got divorced doesn't mean your marriage was a mistake.
Definitely not.
I feel so strongly about this. One of my best friends got divorced after 20 years, and she said, we had a very successful marriage and we have a very successful divorce. And for me, that should be the benchmark. If you make the decision to get married, make your marriage a success. Yeah. If you make the decision to get divorced, make your divorce a success.
100%.
And that is how you model good behavior for your children.
Definitely.
Because these are just choices that are available to us in life. So there's no such thing as the right or the wrong. It's how you make the choice.
Yeah. And I think it was the right choice for me at the time. But, like, I'm such a different person now to who I was at 19. So at the time, we were on the same page. You know, it made sense for us to get married then. We wanted the same thing.
What did you want? What did you both want that made you feel like this is right?
So I would say, like, our values were aligned, which was a huge thing for me. He also came from a religious home, so we saw eye to eye on that, on what we wanted.
How you wanted your home to be run.
Yeah, we both wanted kids. He's one of 14, so I was like, that's not happening. I just want you to.
How many siblings do you have?
Just 2. There's 3 of us.
And he's
one of 14. He has 13
siblings.
Yeah.
Do you know I'm an only child?
To you 14 is like, what?
To me 2
is a lot.
I'm like so jealous. Imagine having 13. You could, like, go your whole life with, like, not even talking to some of your
You don't need
friends.
friends.
No, you definitely don't need friends. So you decided to get married because you wanted the same thing. So was this immediately after you got back from your gap year?
Yeah, pretty much. And it's actually funny because I remember, like, we started, like, dating properly. Like, go on actual dates, because until that it was like at the ice skating rink, or he would sometimes, like, sneak into my house late at night. Yeah.
So and how soon did you get engaged?
3 weeks. But I remember saying to him, like, we're not going to do this, like, 3-week engagement. We're going to take our time. There's no rush. He's like, yeah, agreed. And after 3 weeks, I was like, what are we doing? Like, we know we're getting married. We might as well get engaged.
I mean, I kind of agree with that.
But again, it wasn't just 3 weeks from when I met him.
I actually love this. This is like a love story for the ages. How soon after you got engaged did you get married? What's that timeline?
That was 4 months. I think now that, like, I'm a lot more in touch with, like, who I am and, like, really listen to my gut now, I think now I'll know.
Right.
And it's I don't know. I'll let you know.
I think you will.
But I do think it will be a feeling.
I think my gut is, like, very strong. And I work on it all the time because I think that that's all we have in life. I think the world is upside down.
Yeah.
I don't think that anything makes sense.
Yeah. I think I've always had a strong gut, honestly. Like as a kid, I was so like my poor parents, like they really struggled with me. I was a very strong kid.
Yeah, you sound like you know what you want and you're very
Yes,
determined.
exactly. But I think like I've had to tone down on that because like society was not keen on me being so strong and so opinionated from such a young age. They were like, who do you think you are? Like, no, you don't.
I'm so glad you said that, because this has nothing to do with getting married young or divorced, or it does. It's interlaced with everything. So many of the things throughout my life that I was told, like, don't do that, be less. Now, as an adult, I look back, and that was such terrible advice.
I know. I'm like, what if they just let me be? Instead of trying to be like, you're actually too much and you need to tone it down and you need to.
Well, I look at my life today and I'm very happy with the life that I have today. It's everything I've ever wanted. And I think it's as a result of me ignoring people's advice to be less and trusting my gut.
Yeah.
So as an adult, I can say with confidence that those messages are false. Those are not accurate messages, and those messages are projections of other people's fear.
Yeah. 100%.
Be less.
Yeah.
Be quiet.
I think it's because they don't feel like they're good enough. So you being too much triggers them.
Without question. It's like, it's almost like a resentment. I have to be quiet, so how dare you speak up?
Yeah. Like, you know what you want and who you are, and you're strong and you're
Who do you think you are?
And you need to be more like me. You need to be less.
Correct. And also, why did
less too much?
Yeah. Did no one tell you the rule? The rule is you're not allowed to say.
Yeah.
And if I have to follow the rule, then you have to follow the rule. Exactly. And this, for me, speaks to divorce a lot, because, we all so quick on the outside to say, oh, she's getting a divorce. But when it comes closer to home, the people that you think are going to support you the most are the ones behind the scenes saying, well, what will everyone think? What will everyone think of you? And you going, do you not understand? I don't care. Yeah. I only care about what I think of me. Yeah. And I
think that's been one of the things I've learned the most from my divorce, is to not care what people think. Because I used to be the biggest people pleaser. I was like, when I was married, people were shocked that we got divorced because we looked like the perfect family.
Really?
People were like, I don't understand. Like, you guys are like a role model couple. Like, you guys are happy. You've got this beautiful family, happy kids, nice house. Like, everything just looked perfect. And that was my thing. That was my branding. I looked perfect in every single area.
So that was, you were conscious about, like, we curate how we look to the world.
Totally. And I was like obsessed with photo shoots. I have photo shoots from...
I was obsessed with photo shoots! But my brand...
But yours are real. Yours are... No, I'm actually happy in them.
I have photos from our photo shoots of, like, my then 3-year-old literally whipping down his pants and weeing. And I'm like, take a photo of this, because I'm like...
Oh, I'm the opposite. I'm like, no one must know.
I'm also obsessed with photo shoots, but I love being tongue-in-cheek. And I think my brand is saying to the world...
Yours is the opposite.
Perfection doesn't exist. Like, grow up.
Yeah.
I know that you make smelly poos in the toilet.
Yes. That's why I loved your ads as well for your Smell My Pits, because I was like, it's so the opposite of me that I just love it. It was like, well, do you stink? And I was like,
how can she say that?
How dare you? I don't stink.
But secretly you're like, maybe I do. Well, that's why, like, when it's just you and your phone at 3 a.m. scrolling Instagram and this crazy girl pops up and goes, do you stink? Or are you scared that you stink? It's just you and me in a conversation.
Exactly.
So you don't have to worry. But this is such an amazing point. And as I said, like, we've literally never spoken before. No. The people who are doing the Instagram perfect life, which you kind of are saying you were doing.
I was that.
You were that girl. You were that.
I was like, look at my perfect holiday, my perfect life, and my perfect family.
This is amazing that you are, like, admitting it. Now,
I knew it, but I had to, because that kind of, even though I knew it was fake,
whoa,
that kind of gave me the sense of, like, maybe it's not so, maybe everything's fine. Maybe if it looks fine, it kind of is. I don't know. I think it was a
So
little bit.
you consciously were curating this image to the world.
And I think to myself.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
I was about to say.
It's not that.
But it was more to yourself. You were trying to convince yourself.
I was trying to convince myself that my life was okay. Because I would look at pictures that of us all at the beach. I have to show you these pictures. Like, they look like the most perfect family. You would never know that that was the worst holiday of my life, and I got divorced 2 months later. You would never know. We're smiling, we're happy, we're by the beach, we're like, woohoo, life's great. I was dying inside. Yeah. 100%. It was crazy.
I just need to digest that. Because you know why I'm taking this so seriously? It's because one of my very closest friends passed away a year ago, but it was the worst. But it still is the worst.
Yeah.
But he always used to say, like, I would post whatever I would post. Sometimes it was curated, sometimes it wasn't. He would always be like, "You're the best mom, you're the best mom."
Aww.
And it meant so much to me because he was always in my home when I was screaming at my kids, or like, you know, he saw how
coming from him, it really was.
Yeah, and he was the most authentic person in this world, and his greatest value was authenticity. He decided how he felt about a person based on authenticity. So what, I'm not making this very eloquent point, but I know what it means to post pictures of my family and have people judge me for it, for the good or for the bad, and have people be like, she must have all her shit together.
It's so crazy how people like will see one picture and assume that you're perfect, you're happy, you're rich, you're all these things just from a picture.
I think it's so brave to admit this. Hearing you say this makes me think,
what else is going on in other people's lives?
Yeah. It makes me think.
That's also why I think it's so important for me to do this, because I know another thing that's been amazing since getting divorced is that people have shared so much of what's going on in their lives. And so I see it all the time. And I even get shocked, even though like I did that myself. I've had this perfect life that I curated for myself. And even when someone tells me that they've done the same thing, it still shocks me. I'm like, but you guys were so happy. And I'm like, but I did that too. Like, why am I shocked that they're actually not happy, even though they look happy to the world? It still shocks me. Like, honestly, everyone should be getting awards for their acting, because the smiles we put on when we're dying inside is insane.
I just hope that if people watch, okay, firstly, I hope people watch this, but I hope that
if not, this is therapy for me. So
I think you're amazing, and I just hope, number one, no one feels judged, because obviously we all want to present our best version of ourselves to the world. So I don't think that's what we're saying, but I hope people can see that they're not alone if they feel like they have to keep up with the Joneses. And are dying inside. Like, that's a huge thing.
It's exhausting. And so when I got divorced and I didn't have to pretend that I was happy all the time, it was such a relief. I was like, I can actually walk around and be sad and people will understand, because they know that. But before, when I was in my marriage, and I was probably struggling more in my marriage than I was post-divorce, no one could know. And so
why did you feel no one could know?
I kept it from my family for a long time because I felt, first of all, I was told that marriage is private. You should never share it with anyone. To a degree, I agree with that. You know, you shouldn't just air out your dirty laundry for everyone. But I feel like there should be T's and C's that are like, if this and this happens, then you need to speak up. And we couldn't afford therapy. We had just gotten married. We were young. We had kids. And there was no one to talk to. Like, no one knew. And I just...
You know, this is such a big theme with the women who are my contemporaries who have gotten divorced. It's always this huge shock. And even in my own life, I'm privileged that I have close relationships with my friends, which I think is a product of not having siblings. The people in my life who have gotten divorced, it wasn't a shock to me because I'm the kind of person who I'm just like, what's going on here? Your energy's off. What's going on?
Yeah.
But when you don't have that, and even so, like, it is so lonely.
Yeah.
Did you feel more lonely in your marriage or in your divorce?
That's a good question. I think I felt more lonely in my marriage because of the fact that I had no one to speak to about it. But I feel like now I've lost a lot of friends from my divorce, which has been hard. So I've been more lonely in that sense. That, look, in a way it's better because I've seen people's true colors. Now I know who my real friends are. Because
This is such a...
yeah. Look, again, it's also my fault because I pretended to be perfect. So the friends that I attracted were kind of also
on that wavelength.
On that wavelength of like, yeah, we look perfect to the world, and like no one was.
We don't talk about our
We don't talk
problems.
about it. We did between ourselves, but not to the world.
And I guess it speaks to that whole permission thing again, because now perhaps they turn around going, but what do you... We don't get divorced.
Yeah.
We talk
That's
about
exactly
it.
what happened. Yeah.
But we continue pretending we are fine.
Yeah.
You are breaking the rules right now.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way?
One of my friends literally said to me after I got divorced, she's like, you know, everyone's talking about you. Like, she was like not okay with it because she was like, and she was my best friend, and she was like, my best friend has to look perfect. Like, I'm not okay with this, and people talking and people being like, she did this and he said that, and all. She was just so uncomfortable with the situation that we literally don't speak to each other anymore. So in that sense, it's been lonely. But
wasn't that also heartbreaking?
Absolutely.
Like, not only did you lose your husband.
Oh yeah, I lost all my in-laws, or most of them, and it's a huge family. That was a huge...
Do you know that so many people who get divorced speak to me about this?
Mm-hmm. I have one sister-in-law that will message me, will go out with me for coffee. And there's 14 siblings. So that's a lot.
It's a lot of people to lose.
And all their kids. Like, I was so close to my nieces and nephews. And still, like, thank God I see them at the school. And I see them and I give them the biggest hug and I say hello to them. But their parents basically pretend I don't exist. So I lost a lot. I lost my ex. I lost his family. Some of my friends. Thank God for my family because I could not have done this without them.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that. How did your parents and your sisters react?
So was it one brother?
Oh, sorry. Was it one conversation?
By the time I got divorced, they knew everything that was going on, and they were so supportive. They were amazing.
Did it take them time to come around? Because obviously they were in the dark.
Well, this had been going on. They knew for a few years already.
That's what I'm saying. Like, was there a point in time where you were like, if I don't talk to someone, I'm going to burst?
Yeah. This was 4 years into my marriage. The one night I just told my mom everything, and shame. 4 years, she thought my life was perfect. I was happy. I had 2 kids by then, and it was just this shock. Like, she had no idea. She felt awful because we're so close, and we're together all the time. And the fact that she had no idea, like, she felt so, she was like, did I do something? Like, how did I not pick up on it? And I was like, no, it's just that, like, I've just become really good at hiding it. It's not on you. She was devastated. Yeah.
Whoa.
From then, it was kind of an on and off thing of like, okay, but things are better now.
Yes.
Therapy and
yes,
a lot of stuff.
How long were you married for?
8 years. Yeah.
And in those 8 years, was there ever a time that you felt like things were fine?
Yeah, definitely. Especially because I'm such a like cup half full type of person that I was like, see, it's not so bad. We can do it. And I'm strong. And I'm like, marriage is supposed to be hard. And I think that's another thing that we're told is that marriage is supposed to be hard. And we don't realize what that means. And then, like, obviously, yes, it's not like the movies. It's not a fairy tale, but it's not supposed to be that hard. There's a limit to how hard a marriage should be.
Relationships are hard, but they're not impossible.
Yeah. They shouldn't break you. But I didn't know that. I was like, this is what it is. And
all your friends were married, I guess, around you. Your siblings were married. His siblings were married.
And again, because I didn't know what was going on behind closed doors with my friends, I assumed everyone was having it as hard as me. We didn't speak about it, so I didn't know.
Do you think there are people who are still having it as hard?
I know there are. And that's why I'm telling you that. And those people you would never know. Because it's usually the people that hide it the most that are struggling. So for me, when I see a couple that's like, even when I watch you and Jonathan, I love it. The fact that you guys are so comfortable, like teasing each other and being a bit like, no, you know, that's
we
like...
We literally bicker 24
But to me,
hours
that's a sign of such a healthy relationship because I would never do that.
Did you hear that, Johnny?
You guys are good. More bickering this afternoon.
Yeah, I used to think
because the couples that look so perfect, there's something wrong. No one's that perfect.
I want to say this. came from my parents had a very acrimonious divorce. We were in and out of court until my mother met my late stepfather.
No way.
And
How long was that?
I think I was 8.
So for 8 years there were...
No, but it went on, it went on for about 10 years.
Wow. And even with that, you don't think that caused any trauma?
No, it did.
Okay.
But it's not because,
You're saying it's not because
they
of
were
actual
divorced.
Divorce. It was how the divorce
It was how they behaved.
Yes. Yeah.
And I always used to say, if this is how badly they behaved divorced, God, we aren't all living under the same roof.
Exactly.
It would have been so much worse.
Yeah.
Like, at least there was respect. Like, when I was with my mom, I was with my mom. When I was with my dad, I was with my dad.
Yeah, and that's why I get so upset when people say they're staying married for the kids. Like, you see, the second, like, the last kid matriculates, they're like, okay, divorce time. And I'm like, why did you put your kids through that? What was the point? Like, you think you're doing them a favor, but you're actually causing so much more damage.
This is a very, very hard pill to swallow because I believe in marriage. Yeah. This is
like, I will do it again.
And this isn't a pro-divorce podcast or an anti-divorce podcast. This is about being honest, and also just, you can't be happy all the time, but you can be happy. And if you are miserable all the time, you need to investigate that.
I remember just being like, can there not just be a button that I press that's just like, switch it off, just don't feel? There isn't. And I had to grieve. Like, I gave myself 3 months where I was like, you will grieve like you've never grieved before. Because I knew, also, like, coming from a place where I was pretending everything was fine, my natural thing is to just be like, no, you're fine, everything's fine. And not actually deal with what's going on and not actually feel. Because I think in my marriage, I just kind of switched off my emotions because they were too hard to feel. So I just pretended they weren't there. And they all came flooding out the second I got divorced. It was like, oh my God, like, this is what's been going on. Like, this is my reality now. I held all that hurt that I had suppressed for so long.
What was it? Hurt, betrayal?
Everything. Disappointment.
Like, let down.
It felt like something had died. It was
a death.
It really was. I had to grieve what my life was going to look like. And for me, the hardest part was grieving that the kids weren't going to have that home that I wanted for them. I was able to come to terms with it for myself, but the fact that this impacted my kids and it meant that they're going to have to go between their parents, that broke me. And still now to this day, that still breaks me. I've totally accepted it for myself. I'm like so okay with where I'm at. There's no like hard feelings or resentment towards my ex. Thank God we have a good relationship now. I've learned to be happy with myself and where I'm at, and I'm in a really, really good place. But sharing my kids still breaks me. And I'm like, they should not have to grow up like this. I also like compare it to how I grew up, and I'm like, that's what I wanted for them. And my parents have had the most beautiful marriage. And so that's what I wanted for my kids to see. But it wasn't that anyway. So I'd rather just have 2 parents and 2 separate homes that are actually just full of love and happiness. And my kids are thriving. Like, they're so happy, thank God.
I always say with children, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Like, it's actually not about you and how you feel. Are the kids doing well? Yeah.
And my kids are happier than ever because they needed a happy mom. And as much as I put on a show for everyone, even for my kids and even for myself.
You cannot kid a kid.
They knew that I was unhappy, and that's why they're happy now. People have asked me the funniest questions. I don't know if you've been following on my Instagram. I do like these anonymous posts, and the questions are unhinged.
Like, what?
Do you feel like a bad mom for getting divorced? And I was like, you know what? Actually, no. Because my kids are so happy and they needed a happy mom. And I think I was a bad mom then, because as much as I thought I was protecting them from everything that was going on, the fact that I wasn't putting myself first was actually a disservice to them.
Well, I think like this, children don't become who you want them to become. They become who you are.
Yeah.
Would you want your children to become that?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want, if I was miserable and faking it every single day and hiding how desperately unhappy I was, I wouldn't want that for my child for 1 second.
100%. And that's why, like, one of the big things that helped me leave was I did it for the kids. I was like, the kids need a happy mom. And I'm going to be their role model and they're going to follow what I do just because that's what they see. And if this is what they see, they're going to end up in the exact same situation as me. They're going to be married, pretending to be happy, and they're going to do all the pictures on the beach where they look like life is great, and it's not going to be, and they're going to feel so alone. I could not think of anything worse for them.
That is, for me, the greatest advert for just being honest with yourself. I really feel like you can't be happy all the time. It can't be lovey-dovey and fun and wonderful all the time. But you can be honest with yourself all the time.
It's just so hard to be honest with yourself when reality is so painful to look at. It's easy to be honest with yourself when you're going through things that are like a little bit more like normal, like day-to-day things.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But when it comes to
this is a
something,
litmus test.
yeah, when it comes to something that's so painful, our body, like our brain tries to protect us by lying to us, by saying it's not that bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that if you find yourself having to hide things from yourself on a regular basis, that's how you know you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what I'm gaining from all of this is just, it's not about is divorce bad, is divorce good, is marriage bad. It's about
being true to yourself.
Just telling the truth, even if the only person that you're telling the truth to is yourself.
That's the most important. And you know what my dad actually said to me? It was the most, like, it was amazing. And I say it to my friends now who are married and they don't know what to do. My dad said to me, listen, whatever you decide, we support you. If you decide to stay married, I get it. You've got kids. Getting divorced is super hard. I would get it and I would support you through that. And if you decide to leave, we will be there for you every step of the way. The only thing I do not want you to do is to lie to yourself and to stay married thinking things are going to change. If you decide to stay married, just know that it's not going to change and this is how it's going to be for the rest of your life. And that was like, wow, that's true. That's how I've been living. I've been living in this fake reality that things are going to change. And the second my dad said to me, like, stay or leave. The decision is yours and we will be here for you no matter what.
Wow.
But just don't lie to yourself. It's either you stay married and things stay like this, or you leave and things change. There's no other option. And I think often people stay because
they think there's a third option.
They think there's a third option of like, things are bad now, but they will change. That's not a thing. Not if you've tried for so long and nothing has changed. It's not a thing. So I tell that to my friends now. I say, I support you with whatever you do, but just know that it's not going to change. And if you're okay with things being like this for the rest of your life, great. But if you're not, the only option for you is to leave.
And I think another litmus test, because it's quite hard to look at yourself and be honest with yourself. It is hard, even if you're a self-aware person. But for me, a great litmus test is to say, would I want my children to be in a marriage like this?
Yeah.
And, you know, Jonathan and I bicker all day long and we mock each other all day long.
Yeah.
But I can tell you right now that every day I say to my daughter, marry someone like daddy. She'll be like, daddy, this. I'm like, that's fine. You marry someone like daddy.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's funny because if we think about how much we would protect our kids and we would be like, we wouldn't let someone speak to our kids in a certain way, but the fact that we let people speak to us that way is crazy. So often I will think to myself, like, when I'm thinking something through and being like, even in dating, I'll be like, is this something that I want to carry on doing? Or whatever it is, I'm like, okay, if Shira came to me and said, Mommy, he said this, that, what would I say to her? And all of a sudden, I'm like, hell no, he will not speak to you like that. But with me, I'm like, but shame, he didn't mean it. No, we need to be exactly the same with ourselves. And why do we allow people to treat us badly? And our kids, it's like, hell no, stay away from my kid. I'll punch you in the face.
Yeah, we've obviously gotten messages that it's okay and it's not.
Yeah.
But I think the link here is that your children, my children, our children will allow people to speak to them if we have allowed people to speak to us.
Yeah.
Children live what they learn and they learn what they live.
True.
That's why, like, sometimes my husband, I always make him bring me coffee in the morning. And sometimes I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm literally the biggest brat. And then I'm like, I want my sons to make their wife coffee in the morning.
And if that's your love language, why not?
Well, coffee is my everything language.
Exactly.
But
so
I
there's
want,
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I want my sons to be the kind of husband who takes their wife coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
And I want my daughter to expect nothing less.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I feel like I'm being too indulgent or like I'm expecting too much, firstly, why should I hold my husband to a lower standard? He's a king. He must be a king. And I must model that for my children. Like, even if I can't prioritize myself for its own sake, I can model being a queen for their sake.
Yeah.
And that always brings me back to the right way to behave. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really want to make this point. Getting divorced is not something that sentences children to unhappiness. But staying in an unhappy marriage 100% does.
And I also think, like you said, there's divorce and there's divorce. Like the way your parents' divorce was traumatic because of how it happened and how toxic it was.
It wasn't because they were getting divorced.
My kids, honestly, I don't think they remember the day we got divorced because it was not an event. It was not a big thing. It was actually exciting. It's so funny because we moved into Genesis, me and my kids, for 3 months until I found my place now. And those 3 months were hell for me. Those were, that was my thing.
That was your grieving?
Yeah, that was my grieving. And I was like, okay, while I'm in Genesis, this is going to be my time to grieve. I'm giving myself 3 months to be an absolute wreck. Obviously not in front of the kids, but the second the kids were sleeping or at their dad or with my mom, it was like literally. Yeah. And so to me, like when I think back to that time in Genesis, it was like all that grieving, it was feeling like my life was over. They often say to me, Genesis was so much fun. Can we go back? And I'm like, it's so mad to me how it was the most traumatic experience for me. And they look back at it as like this was a fun holiday for them because that's how I made it out to be. I was like, this is so fun. We're moving to a new place. There's escalators. There's pick and pay downstairs. We can get ice creams anytime. And I didn't realize how much, at the time, again, I thought it was like me pretending that this is so fun. But I was like, surely they're going to hate this. They had the best time. They do not know that it was.
I think you were being strong for your kids.
100% I was. But the fact that they didn't feel my pain.
But also maybe for the first time, they sensed that there was authenticity.
Yeah.
And there wasn't tension.
Yeah, I think so. And they sensed that I was able to just be. And I think before that, I thought that me being happy all the time was good for them. But actually me being me and being authentic, and when I was happy, I was truly happy. I think that was a game changer for them. And even now, like the fact that I've learned to just let go of that thing that I always have to be happy and perfect and strong for my kids. And it's been so good for them because it's given them the permission to also be.
Yes.
Because I think they also were like, okay, cool. So when I first got divorced, like my 8-year-old, I was actually worried about her because she was so, she never spoke about it. She was fine. She was like, yeah. And then I would be like, do you want to speak about it? She was like, no. And then I realized, why would she speak about it if I'm also doing the same thing and pretending everything's fine? She's like, no, you do that. This is what we do. We pretend we're fine. You know what? I'm actually not fine. I'm having a hard day. They've now been able to be like, you know what? This is hard right now.
For me, what's coming through is just this very like free, creative, honest, genuine, authentic, intelligent.
Keep going.
You know, that's what's coming through. This like everything curated, perfect, organized.
It's not really there.
Sure, you are very together.
But I'm so happy that you say that because this is me. And I think that like curated, perfect, whatever was this thing where I had to build.
It was a coping mechanism.
Yeah, and it was for other people. It was like.
It was to survive.
Yeah, it was. It was to make other people happy. I went to therapy just because I was in survival.
The right thing to do.
No, because I was dying. It wasn't because I was like, oh, I matter, so I'm going to go and make sure that I'm okay. That was not a thing. It was just like, help me.
What's one thing that you do now that's just for you?
I do so much just for me.
Wow.
Yeah. Even just like small things like my skincare routine.
Yes.
Like I know it sounds stupid.
No, it doesn't.
I always cared about how I looked.
But to someone else.
But again, it was about, to someone else. As hard as it is to share my kids, I now have a lot more free time. They're at him every Wednesday and Thursday. And I'm like, this is me time. And having that time to myself to be able to fill my cup. When I see the kids, I have so much love to give to them.
I think that full circle will be, please God, when you find the next person to spend time with, in whatever capacity that is. And that person is then in support of you investing in yourself. I think that takes it to that next level.
Yeah.
Where they're a cheerleader to you. They're going like, babe, have you taken that time to do your skincare? Whatever it is.
100%. Has it been like on pause? That would be hilarious if it's been on pause like the whole time.